All right, here we go. Get ready to have a good time. This is exciting, isn't it?
All right, we're on. Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
I've allotted 1 hour for recreational activity. There's no time for irrelevant conversation. Fun will now commence.
Gary.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Gary. But wait, there's more.
See, I'm the guy.
He's Jerry Meier.
Previously on the Garry Meier Show Cocktail Hour Live.
I'm running low on milk and bread, so I'm going to take the Weather MF 24/7 van down to the grocery store before the evening snow flurries set in. So for now, this is Tim Pickering reporting on the scene. Back to you in the studio, Todd.
And then behind the scenes at the Garry Meier Show.
Hey, Tim. Leslie here. You were the last one to drive Storm MF for 2000, right? You want to explain to me what exactly happened when you had to get the bread and milk?
And this.
Tim, it's Dina, the weather van equipment assistant. How come every time I check the gear after you've logged it in, it smells like old tuna?
And Tim's response.
Yeah, I took the MF 24/7 weatherman out. I just grabbed milk and bread, maybe eggs, but a sandwich, but that's it. And then I brought it right back. No problem whatsoever.
Spartans! What is your profession?
We'll stay on top of the story and bring you updates. But for now, Garrforce, it's the February 5th, 2021 edition of the Garry Meier Show Cocktail Hour Live.
Cocktails, woo, drinks.
And no matter where you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. You can replay this and all of our shows whenever you like. Subscribing to the Garrforce Live YouTube channel is a really good way to always catch the Cocktail Hour show when we're live or when you need it for a replay. As always, comments are welcome during our live shows on any of our streaming platforms. And you can also text us at 773-888-2157. Regular charges may apply.
Nothing funny.
Okay, now fasten your seatbelts. It's time to go wheels up on the Garrforce Live.
Wow, Leslie has joined the Tim Pickering Players. That's a very nice thing you did there, Leslie, with Tim. And I love references to the different mobile units out there, the Storm MFers around the country. All these local news places have started to go into the MFR 2000 Storm Tracker vehicle because it's bad out there, folks. Like, you don't know it's bad. You don't know it's zero or it's snowing. They have to have a guy drive around and show you that it's snowing or cold. Let me kick the tires. Let me light the fires. Let's get the wheels up on this thing for the cocktail hour. A lot of people checking in. We got Kellyanne. Sandy Lee said she was staring before the show started to roll. Alan has a schnauzer on the screen, and she said she stared at it so long that the schnauzer's olive looked like a third eye. And now she's okay, she said. She gets it. There's that olive. Ryan, Anthony, Stephen, Bruce, Blaze, Donna, Aaron, Doug, Martin from British Columbia, Scott, Brian, Karen, welcome, all of you. Glad to see all of you. Hope you're having a good Friday. Still a little daylight out there. We're marching towards spring. Got a Manhattan going. Feels pretty good. My guests on the show today will be from the Nest Theater in Columbus, Ohio. Tara and Rance will join me to talk about what's going on with their theater and what's going on in Columbus. I want to know about Columbus, Ohio. I've never been there. It's the capital of the state. Ohio is a hot state to move to. Let's find out what that's all about a little later. Welcome, Leslie, to the program.
Good afternoon, Gary. Good night. Good afternoon, everybody.
And good night. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Catchwire Reserve. Once again, because it's got a really nice label.
That's how you buy your wines, because of the
That's how I
label.
buy them. Why
All right.
not?
All right. How was your day?
Okay, except for the fact that it's all of, let's see here, 14 degrees where I'm at right now.
If you live in the Chicago area, you know that it's going to be brutally cold for about a week. We're killing mosquitoes. We're killing bugs all over the northern part of the country. That's good. Well, there he is. Boy, Bernie, I think the mittens and everything, I think you're about on your 16th minute of your 15 minutes of fame on that one. We're done with that, right?
I heard about the mitten lady. I found out more about her. So here she's had her fabulous moment in the spotlight, and you would think, oh my God, she's making $1 million of these mittens and getting rich. She can't do business in Vermont. She says it's just too cost prohibitive.
Okay.
The hell?
Oh, what's cost prohibitive?
I guess taxes in Vermont and stuff, which is why we need to learn about why people are moving to Ohio, I guess.
Yeah, there are 10 states that people are moving to in droves. Ohio is one of them. The number 1 state is Tennessee. Number 2 is Texas, right?
And number 3 is Ohio.
Yeah, that's Ohio.
And Iowa's in it. Isn't Iowa in there too?
Whatever. Mostly the states that have no state income tax. That's the draw. That's why people are going there, understandably. But what happens after the COVID hurricane, as far as population shift, it's going to be pretty interesting, because people are just deciding, I can't deal with this anymore, whether it's the weather, the taxes. I got to go somewhere that's going to treat me right. And that's what we're seeing here.
So let's start a Garry Meier Conestoga Wagon Company, and we can be the new pioneers.
That's right.
Oh,
but
that's U-Haul. Never mind.
Okay, instead of Conestoga wagons, it will be water cannon trucks, because those are the big vehicles now.
You love your water cannons.
I do. Crowd control's it's a growth industry, and I want to be part of it. Okay, I mentioned this week that we'll be talking about this Supertramp album cover. Jim from Wisconsin, listener Jim, sent me this article about the mysteries and conspiracies involving rock stars. And I looked at them and I was, okay. It's the Paul is dead, that flavor. And then I stopped at the Supertramp album cover, Breakfast in America, because this one, they're saying that this album, which came out in 1979, was a harbinger of 9/11. And I'm looking at it thinking, okay, wait a minute. The picture's taken through an airplane window.
Correct.
It's the tip of Manhattan there, where the World Trade Centers were. And when you look at it, the only buildings that are distinguishable, because everything else is a salt and pepper shaker or some kind of kitchen item, but you can tell those are the World Trade Center buildings.
Like a teapot, but is there a penis in there?
Okay. Let's follow that. Where do you see that?
Battery Park. Go up and to the right of Battery Park, which is actually a plate. And I never noticed that. I mean, like you said, we've looked at this album cover how many times? Is
that right above the plate there? Is that the penis you're talking about?
And that's kind of what I'm thinking.
I'm sure you are. Okay, that's what that wine does to you with the pretty label. The World Trade Center.
I was going to say, I see a chess bishop there. I don't know what Leslie's looking at. So.
Leslie. Okay,
right.
but the World Trade Center buildings aren't any kind of kitchen utensil, right?
No.
I mean, of all the things they're doing there to replicate that part of Manhattan, you can tell those are the World Trade Center buildings. The orange juice is in front of I don't know what that means necessarily, but it's looking out a plane window. It's the World Trade Center buildings that are the only ones, and her orange juice glass is in front of those. And they say if you look at Supertramp in reverse in a mirror, the U and the U and the R look like 9/11. Look at that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's good. Cool.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I love when it goes a little deeper. You just needed to go a little deeper, and it did.
Yeah. So that's the conspiracy or theory that this was a harbinger of 9/11 in 1979.
It was also a bitchin' album.
Yeah, it was a great album. Great
God,
album.
it was good.
Yeah, regardless of that.
I was going to say the lyric was "Take a jumbo across the water." So I mean, of course, it's an airplane window.
Yes. All right. So, what do we do with this?
Who knows? That's it. Yeah. It's over. Yeah. Well,
if it wasn't for the internet, we would not even have this in the repertoire of conspiracies. It's because we have the internet and it fuels this kind of stuff. That's why we're even paying attention to this. I would never have looked at that Supertramp album again and went, oh, the World Trade Center buildings are the only buildings that I can distinguish amongst all the coffee cups and teapots and things and penises.
And what's funny too is like, I was trying to think back about how did we share these memes before we had the interwebs? It was essentially using the Xerox copier at work to share wacky Far Side cartoons that we actually had to put in the mail and send to people. Or like if you had a fax machine available at your work, that put you in connection with a lot of people where you could send it via fax. But God, that was so Stone Age. I mean,
the only way rumors and jokes traveled when I was a kid, there was a thing called the yo-yo, and there was this Dunkin' yo-yo salesman that would travel the country, and he would come to stores that sold yo-yos, and he would tell us what joke was coming out of Minnesota or California. That's the only way things traveled. I know I sound like I'm 200 years old, but that's the way things spread, and it was kind of benign and fun, and now it's all hurtful and ugly and mean.
Yeah, pretty much. I think you've summed it up very nicely. But there are still people who are doing comedy, thank God, and we have them on the show today.
Yeah, we do. Alan, do you have the picture of the mask that's a bird's mask?
I sure do. I will bring it up. And we
Ryan
also have
from Wisconsin.
I was going to say we also have Johnny on the phone when you're ready to talk to him.
Yes, I'm going to talk to Johnny after I show people this. This is one of the stylish masks you could buy now. It's a beak. Ryan from Wisconsin sent this to me, and I thought, well, if you got to wear a mask, why not have some fun with it? Look at that. And you can talk. Okay. I don't know if the beak moves when you talk, but if you want to get away from the traditional flat mask,
the caption. Oops, I don't have my mic. Or I do have my mic on.
Yeah, it's on.
The caption said that the beak does move when you move your mouth.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's great. I'll switch to that. Okay,
you're a joiner.
I'm a joiner. Let's talk to Johnny from Michigan. Hey, Johnny, how are you?
All right, Johnny. Oops, Johnny's mic is muted on Keith's end. Keith, you need to unmute Johnny. There we go. Go ahead, Johnny. You're on.
Am I on? Am I good?
You're on something, Johnny. What's going on?
Not much. At work today. I got my throat blessed this week.
You got your what?
My throat blessed this week.
Your throat blessed.
Oh, it was the Feast of St. Blaise for Catholics.
Blaise. Yeah, I remember that. You would go to the church and they'd have a couple of candles that they put up against it. Yep. The candles were crossed and they put them up against your neck, right? Am I remembering this correctly?
Yep, you are. And I got my throat blessed this week.
Great. How does that help COVID?
I don't know, but at least I'm blessed for something.
Yeah. Okay. So your throat is blessed. You're in broadcasting school, right, Johnny?
I'm in speech communication. I'm taking politics this semester.
How's it going?
Having a hard time turning in assignments online.
Why?
I'm missing a step to doing it. I don't know how to do this one step. And my tutors are having the same trouble issues I'm having. So I lost one assignment already for my class.
At least your throat is blessed. At least you got that going for you, which is nice.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to get some Girl Scout cookies tomorrow.
You're going to do what?
Try to get some Girl Scout cookies tomorrow.
Oh, Girl Scout cookies. Yes. Where do you buy your Girl Scout cookies?
I hope that's not code.
They're supposed to be at the grocery store next to work tomorrow. So.
Okay. Is it really cold? You're where in Michigan?
Warren. I live just outside of Detroit, and it was cold this morning. And it's winter, put it that way.
Yeah, it is. It is February. Okay, so these Girl Scouts are going to sit outside and sell cookies, even though it's going to be cold.
I think it'll be inside. I think they're going to have them inside the store.
Okay. All right, so you're buying some Girl Scout cookies. You got, huh?
Tomorrow would have been my dad's birthday.
And as I will explain here, your dad was Dwight D. Eisenhower's dentist.
He made his dental crown.
Yes, for Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of our nation's presidents.
Yep.
That's how I met Johnny outside. How old would he have been?
He would have been 91 tomorrow.
91.
91, yep.
Wow, he must have been really young when he was Dwight's dentist.
He was 22.
Holy smokes.
How do you get out of wait a minute. How do you get out of dental school at 22? And how do you become the president?
His brother, my Uncle Joe, taught him the business while he was in high school.
Taught him the business.
Okay.
So he was the Doogie Howser of dentistry?
Apparently.
Like that. My Uncle Joe owned a dental laboratory in Highland Park, Michigan in the 40s. When my dad was in high school, my dad would work at the dental laboratory. And so when they drafted him, he went to the dentist area of the military, and he got to make Eisenhower's dental crown.
Okay.
This story just gets better every time.
It really does. I've known Johnny now for over 10 years, and I didn't know this component of it. Imagine somebody telling the president, Mr. President, your crowns are here. They were made by a 22-year-old. Enjoy them.
Well, George Washington would have been happy with that compared to what his teeth turned out.
Yeah, they were made out of wood, so anything above that is good.
Hey, can I say hello to a couple of people who want to listen to the show?
Certainly.
Martin, BC, how you doing? Sandra Lee over in Western Michigan. How you doing? Roberto Trento. Roberto, how you doing?
All right, Johnny, always a pleasure. Have a good weekend.
I'll tell Johnny some good news I learned yesterday. Yesterday, I got to meet Mike Portillo, the son of the founder of Portillo's Hot Dogs, and they're opening up a restaurant here in Orlando, Florida, and invited media out. But today, they're up in the Detroit, Michigan area because they're opening their first Detroit store up there as well. So, Johnny, you don't have to go to Chicago for your Portillos next time. You'll be able to get them somewhere there in the Michigan, Detroit area.
I got to look them up online.
All right. Enjoy, Johnny.
Hey, guys, have a great weekend. My dad would have been 91 tomorrow.
All right. Happy birthday to your dad. Thank you, Johnny. Portillo's, as Ellen mentioned there, this is a hot dog stand that originated in Chicago and became a massively successful thing. And now they're branching out around the country. And as Ellen said, he went to the media party for this, and then they had a truck. Alan, come on and tell us about what happened with the truck.
Well, the food truck, which they call the Beef Bus, has been in Orlando for a couple of weeks traveling around town. And for its last day in town, they brought it over to the construction site where the new restaurant's going to be, which is, I mean, amazingly located for them. They've located it pretty much equidistant from Disney World, SeaWorld, and Universal. So if you're in any of those resorts, the Portillo's is going to be pretty close by. But they brought the bus over there so that they could feed those of us in the media with sample I almost called them super dogs, sample Portillo's hot dogs. And the neighborhood seemed to have found out that the Beef Bus was there. So by the time I left the event, the line was more than 30 deep for people waiting to buy Portillo's hot dogs and Italian beef.
Yeah.
Which are the two things they sell from the truck. Their actual restaurant menu's gotten huge. I mean, they do salads, they do all sorts of stuff, plus their trademark chocolate cake, which we didn't get to sample yesterday.
but you can't go wrong really with good hot dogs and French fries and that kind of thing.
Well,
And
it's interesting you say that because well, I was going to say in Florida you can, and really? I was well because of our water. The cooking with Florida water changes the flavor profile of everything. And there is a place in the Orlando area that I discovered before Portillo's opened in Tampa. For those days I was longing for something Chicago flavored here. They sell Vienna beef hot dogs at this little stand on the other end of town, and it was just a little off. And when I've been to Portillo's in Tampa, it was perfect. It tasted just like you expected. You could have been in any of the Chicago stores, and it tasted right. And the secret, I've been told repeatedly, is the water. The folks whose cannolis we show in every show, the Patina Restaurant Group, they run a pizza place at Epcot called Via Napoli. And when they were developing the recipes for the pizza restaurant there, they determined that they couldn't make the sort of Napoli's pizza that they wanted to make with Florida water. So, and apropos of your guests, they bring in the water from Ohio to make Italian-style Napoli's pizza at Via Napoli at Epcot.
Okay,
Go figure.
Okay, explain what the water situation. Why is the water bad down there?
Well, have you ever smelled Florida water? And it doesn't smell as bad here.
Not recently.
It doesn't smell as bad. It doesn't smell as bad in Orlando as it does in, say, South Florida. But the water table is very, very floral, right? It has all sorts of these other natural ingredients, and maybe otherwise too, for all we know. But it has all these other natural ingredients that cause it to smell and taste differently, and it causes things to cook differently. So it all takes
like alligators and old people, right?
Isn't
that?
Yeah, well, especially the further south you go, right?
That's the name of my new album, Alligators and Old People.
And as one of your commenters said in the list, and I didn't flash it on the screen before, it is the season as you get a little further south of here to watch out for the iguanas dropping from trees, because we've been having here in Orlando nights around freezing, but as you go further south, it's in about the 50s, and the iguanas can't stand the 50s either, so they just start hibernating where they are, which means they start raining from trees.
But the good news is you don't have to pay state income tax. That's why
no state income tax, no state income tax, low sales taxes. Low cost of living. Even, the only thing that has shocked me about prices in Florida is you would think that the county I live in, which is called Orange County, would have cheaper orange juice. But orange juice is just as expensive, if not more expensive here than it was in Chicago, and I don't understand why.
Wow, you've got real problems, Alan.
I'm going back behind the lens here. You guys have a good show. Talk to your guests.
All right, I will in just a minute here. Okay, so the water's bad in Florida, but you got the nice weather during the winter and no state income tax. Everything's a trade-off. You don't get everything, no matter where you live. Okay. Here's June. Is Garry single? No, I am happily married. We have a daughter together. Wow. Maybe a new listener. Thank you. Glad to have you on board, June. And I enjoy all of your comments via the text here. We look at them all through the show. So, and if you want to talk on the show like Johnny did, you just text in to Keith. Keith will route you into the show to talk on the show. That's the deal here. Okay. All right. Next week on this program, I'm going to have somebody on, and he's going to have a device that I saw a few weeks ago. And wow, let's talk about this device where this purifies the air about 4 feet around you, the 3-air purifier, portable air purifier. And I've been wearing this every time I leave the house now. I don't leave home without it. It's got a little UV light on the top there. The air is fresher. It does all this great stuff. It's been around for 20 years. It ionizes particles, these germs, and makes them bigger so they drop to the ground, or your mask has a better chance of preventing them from coming into your pie hole or your nostrils. And if you want one, you can go to 3airhealth.com, the number 3airhealth.com, and you'll get a 30% discount. When you go to that website, they have a code you can enter, Garrforce 30. You'll get 30% off, and anything to fight whatever we're going through is good for me, and I hope you. 3Air. It's a great little product. Leslie, you're wearing one. You gave away some for Christmas.
Too. It's
know.
got kind of an ozone smell going, so you know that you're in a bubble of protection. It's really exciting.
3airhealth.com. Alan, do you have a graphic for that, or
He did. He threw it up on the
did
bottom.
he throw it up there?
It was up. It was up while you were talking, Gary.
Okay, good. Really like that. Please get one and enjoy the fresh air. When you go on an airplane, a train, or whatever, where there are a group of people, you got your little bubble.
Store.
Grocery store. I got my bubble. My bubble. All right, let's bring on our guests. They are from Columbus, Ohio, from the Nest Theater. Let's welcome Lance and Tara. And they are husband and wife, and they have started this theater group. It's been around for 5 years now in Columbus, and they originated this in Chicago. That's where they met, and they brought it to Columbus. And let's see how they're faring during COVID. And welcome aboard, Tara and Rance.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Well, hello. Okay. Theater obviously has taken a beating over the last year. I'm sure you have been part of that beating, and you're getting by whichever way you can. Can we start with Columbus, Ohio first? Let's talk about Columbus. You were in Chicago, and you thought, well, the Chicago theater scene is saturated. Let's go to Columbus. But it wasn't just a random thing. Tara, you're from Columbus, right, originally?
Yeah, I am. I'm from Columbus. I lived in Chicago from, I think, 1999 to 2016. So near and dear to my heart. And we go back there a lot to work still. But yeah, Columbus is where I was born and raised, baby. So we had the community reach out to us here. The artistic community was looking for a brick and mortar space to do improvisation, sketch comedy, experimental theater. And there wasn't really one for exactly what we do. So Rance and I thought it might be cool to go back and build one. We were touring a show at the time, and still are, that had the ability to be routed from anywhere. And since we had work in Chicago seasonally and could build this place and make it our official home, we kind of started doing everything out of Columbus, Ohio instead. And it's been awesome. We love it. We love it.
Columbus is the capital of Ohio. It's the largest city in Ohio. It is bigger than Cincinnati and Cleveland combined. So there's a lot going on there. I've never been there, but as I've been mentioning, Ohio is in the top 10 states to move to. The cost of living must be fairly decent. And what kind of activities, besides, you got Ohio State there, there's a lot going on. I know a lot of corporate headquarters are in Columbus. So this is a pretty vibrant town.
Yeah, so many. I mean, there's so many corporate headquarters here. I think it's sort of shocking. I think that Rance and I were just talking last week about that. Things we don't even know are corporate headquarters. The classics were Nationwide Insurance and this thing called L Brands, which was Lex Wexner Companies that owns like Bath and Body Works, Abercrombie and Fitch, The Limited. All those things are under one group. But now there's other big ones, like there's an Amazon headquarter, there's Cover My Meds, there's Overstock, like lots of companies that are here in the city. So people have been rushing the city because houses are cute and affordable. The housing market is off the charts right now. It was really hard for us to actually find a place to live when we were moving back between Chicago and here. But it's an affordable, artsy, progressive city in the center of a purple state. So that's also a big perk for many people, like how Austin feels in Texas is kind of how Columbus and Cleveland feel in Ohio.
So you're in the heartland of the country, and that gives you a certain vibration, and you're doing comedy in your theater group, right?
Yep.
You got it.
and what are you doing now since COVID? We're a year in. You're doing Zoom, obviously, to get by. How has that been for you?
We've had a lot of, we dug in deep when it was happening, and we've had a lot of good experience and a lot of good turnout for doing online shows. We use oddly enough the same platform you're using here for your show, as well as Zoom sometimes. And we found that multiple streaming lets people watch the show. We know some other theaters that have been going for it and doing a lot of shows, but we also know that people are working from home or doing school from home and get burnt out easily. So we've kind of pared down our shows to a typical once a week sort of thing. And we try to make it free where you can come on, and if you are able to pay for a ticket price, we give you a ticket link because we want people to have entertainment, and also we're a theater trying to run a business. So it's finding that happy medium in between.
I said to Tara before the show, okay, how many people are in your troupe? And she said, well, we have 500 people going through. And I said, okay, but how many are in the troupe? And she goes, we have 500 people. What? You have 500 people in this group.
We're lucky. We moved here with kind of a plan of how can we make this an inclusive, safe space community for comedy folks. And it was daunting because Rance and I were professional performers and teachers in Chicago at 3 of the institutions there at a place called Comedy Sports, IO Chicago, and Second City. And we toured the show that we already had quite a bit. But when we moved to Columbus, we knew kind of how operationals worked, but to be honest, no one knows what it's like to be an owner or a founder until you just do it. So we had all these kind of plans, and because we're improvisers and do comedy for a living, we are in flow with those plans and sort of rolled with whatever it needed. And because of that, because of the community support we had before even arriving here to C-Bus, as we call it here in Columbus, it felt like the community really ran to us to take classes and to promote shows and sustain the community. So it grew really rapidly. I think we expected 25-ish students when we came home. And by the end of our first year, we had 100 people in our system. And that's grown, I think, over the past 5 years or so. It just keeps exponentially getting bigger and bigger, which is awesome because before COVID, at least, we were really at a really major tipping point of how many people were in there taking workshops and courses and producing shows.
What is the grist for your comedy mill right now? I don't do any politics on this show. I've never done politics really. What are you chewing on in whatever you're doing now?
I think mostly we're not really like aiming for a target. We bring up what we bring up, and also I think everyone's kind of like, especially after the political season, kind of like, let's take a breath and not have to deal with anything anyway. So our improv has always been a core of the relationship of the characters. If we have strong characters who have clear feelings about each other, doesn't matter what they do, the audience will be intrigued. If we're just leaning on bits or trying to do jokes, we might get a laugh, but it won't be as overall fulfilling as it is when we do that. The closest we have to that is a show called Comedy Sports, which is an international league that is in multiple cities, and we run Comedy Sports at our theater. That's an all ages show that's more like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where you get a suggestion, and also there's each scene or game has a specific set of rules that makes it fun. But everything is fairly suggestion heavy, and formats like this where you can see the chat come in not just on one but on multiple streams at the same time has made it almost more connective to have people engaged as we're doing the show as far as suggestions go.
Yeah.
But when you're doing something on Zoom, you can only have one little frame there, and when you're on stage, obviously people are sitting there and you've got the whole wide angle of what you're doing, so that has to be a little challenging.
Yeah, I mean, we miss it so much. I mean, there's nothing that's going to compare to live theater, and I think we talked briefly about this before the show went live, but it's so necessary. The art is necessary, and comedy is necessary. Everyone's in so much pain this year. There's just so much trauma, and everyone's looking to alleviate that with joy. And I think that we have these like very silly, very funny shows, and we have shows that are more based in the truth that tend to have like satirical lenses, and there's something for everyone. And we feel like everyone's going to flood it again. It was already packed and sold out, luckily, prior to COVID-19. But when we get to be back in the space, it just feels like it's going to be doubly bursting at the seams with people that are so excited to be gathered again. So we're looking forward to having various and variant kinds of shows that might just show off comedy in different ways.
I just picture that moment when we don't have to wear masks anymore and people go to the grocery store and just start soul kissing random people. I really, that moment, we're all focused on it when we have that freedom to do real basic stuff that we've missed for a year. Totally. I don't know what that's going to be so weird. We're going to feel naked without our masks.
Yeah.
And we're going to go out in public and sit at a restaurant and go, oh, I don't know. Should I be here? it's going to be weird. It's like learning how, after you've had a stroke, to talk or walk again.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we're going to have some kind of almost like dysphoria. Like you said, like where we feel like we should be wearing a mask and we don't need to wear it anymore at some point. Or I don't know about you. We were just talking the other day, Rance and I were about how when someone arrives to the door with like a package, we're like, how are you? Is everything good? Are you okay? You know, you would never take this time to like talk through a screen door with people that are just randomly coming to your home to drop off the mail. But now those little tiny relationships become meaningful, you know.
I'm wondering if, like after 9/11, when we were all one community, we were all in it together, we were attacked, and it's us against them, and I love you, you love me, and it lasted all of about 4 to 6 weeks. And I'm wondering if we're going to forget this as time goes on. They say time heals everything. If we're going to, after a few months, well, that was fine, we're past that, I'm not going to be nice to anybody anymore because we're back to our old routine. I'm wondering if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, that's the downside, is that humans forget, you know, when we step into comfort again, it's really easy to let that slide happen where routine becomes benign and it's not interesting to engage the same way we could be. But it is a great reminder right now to think, like, what do we miss? What do we want to see on the other side? Which is certainly like something Rance and I are banking on. Is this community was thriving, comedy was thriving, Columbus was doing well as a city. What do people want to make on the other side do well? Do we want to see bands again? Do we want to be around people in community and celebrate the fireworks? Whatever like floats your boat. You know, it seems like live art will be the first thing that people are going to do. Getting a beer with each other, you know, whatever. All that stuff we miss.
All right. Well, I wish you all well. And do you have something that people can go to now and look at and see what you all do?
You bet. You can go to at the Nest Theater. Theater with an R-E. There you go. Nesttheater.com is our website, or you can go to at the Nest Theater on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube, and we have all sorts of archive videos there from all the shows that we've been doing since March.
We have 25 rotational main stage shows in regular time, like improvised musicals, sketch comedy, improvised comedy, experimental theater, and game shows, stuff like that. We have all kinds of things that have been working fairly well on virtual. So even if you're not in CBus, then come watch us in the meanwhile. We'll bring you some joy in the meanwhile on us. And then hopefully in the physical space, we come and see us and take a class and laugh.
How big is your theater?
It holds about 100 people in like as a show or space. So we have a classroom, we have a classroom studio area. We have a green room. We have a lobby with a bar. And then there's this main stage area that will seat. I don't remember what the actual seating of it is, Rance, for a typical show. Around 70, probably.
Yeah, I think it's 68.
Yeah.
How are you paying your rent?
Well, I mean, we kind of, Garry, how are we paying our rent? No, I think we had luckily an auxiliary kind of like what we had earned through the past 4 years of operations. We had gathered because we were building out our dream space. So a lot of that went to rent relief. And then a lot of our virtual shows have had a tip jar. So in addition to some arts grants and things like that made us a sustainable company that they wanted to make to the other side from Ohio Arts Council and a place called niva.org, hopefully in the future, we have this tip jar that people often give money after they watch a show as an honorarium ticket, I guess.
Yeah, we've also been teaching, Tara and I taught for years in Chicago in the Mecca, as they call it, of improv. And we've been continuing to teach online classes as this has all been going. And what has been the benefit of that is that you aren't limited to your location to be able to come take a class with us. We've had people from South Korea, from the Philippines, from Thailand, from UK, from all over the place sign up and take our classes with us.
Cool.
Where typically they would probably save up a lot of money and do a summer program at one of the main theaters, an intensive like week-long program where they save their money and go and do all this learning at once. Now, people who don't have a strong improv source in their own home, but have started looking for connections, are able to get some learning online with people who are just doing it online.
Yeah, it's cool. That's maybe the one of the only upsides of this time is global improvisation. You know, Rance and I would typically physically tour to go teach or perform in our 2-person show and then do kind of immersions. But now globally, this has made it easy to access everyone because everyone has time in a different sense and everyone has internet ability to jump online and do classes. It's not exactly the same, but it's surprisingly connective, and people are really relieved and happy to have online communities that do theatrical work. It's fun. It's fun, more fun than I expected it to be.
As they say, if you're funny in South Korea, you can be funny anywhere.
Yeah, that's the adage.
Yeah. You have a sense of what the humor is in South Korea. What kind of things are funny
here? You can make it everywhere. Yeah.
What do you know of anything that's funny in South Korea that we could talk about?
I mean, there's
like
troops and sketch comedy troops. Yeah, Rance, were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, the people that we've had have been practicing the same thing I spoke to earlier, where it's like it's about humans with emotions. So it's like everywhere across the whole planet, if you're a human, you feel emotions and you recognize that. So it's like it's not like there's any set pop culture thing that was coming up. It was all just emotional stuff. And it was funny because it was relatable.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're international. It's Tara and Rance from Nest Theater in Columbus. And there's the info.
Yeah,
That's
if you
what
come
they do.
by and see us sometime, we're right on High Street in the Old North Columbus area. We'll be happy to have you. And C-Bus is a pretty cool place to live. Who knew? I mean, it's a well-kept secret for a long time, but it's a great city.
I just picked up on C-Bus. That's Columbus shortened, and I'm going to end with this. Christopher Columbus has been taking a beating over the years. How is Columbus dealing with this? Are they going, let's call it C-Bus, like Dunkin' Donuts went with Dunk or Double D or whatever? All these companies that are KFC, it was Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's KFC now. Yeah. Let's shrink it down. Let's call it C-Bus.
Yeah,
and maybe we can get, is that what's happening?
Well, since I was a kid, everyone that actually lives here calls it C-Bus. It's rarely do you hear someone say Columbus that's from Columbus, because I think we knew that it was a great city with a questionable name. So a lot of people just started calling it that because of sports and stuff. It was easy to abbreviate, but I know we tend to refer to it as that at the theater.
There was a tiny movement at some point, I feel like in the last year, to have Columbus renamed to Flavatown because of
Guy Fieri is from here. Yeah, so people were like, please name it Flavortown, let's rename it. There was a weird little campaign that didn't really take, but it was funny to think about for a minute.
Flavortown because
Guy Fieri is from here. Yeah. So people were like, if we can make it Flavortown, just like the restaurant, they were really geeking out about it, but it didn't happen.
What's from there? I didn't hear that.
Guy Fieri.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Diners, Dopes, and Dingoes, or whatever that show is.
Yeah, you know that.
Yeah, that show. All right. Yeah. Do you have a statue of Columbus in town?
Not anymore.
Oh, really? They took that out.
Mm-hmm. They took all of them down, to our knowledge. There was a place called Columbus. I mean, there is a place called Columbus State, which is a community college, a college here, and it had one I know that was removed. I think there was one in front of not the State House, but the oh gosh, I'm thinking maybe in front of the courthouse here, and it was a really big statue, and I believe that was removed this summer. I think, is that correct? I think that's right.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Before Columbus Day. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, get ready. You're going to be living in C-Bus officially.
Hey. All right.
That's what he gets for bringing scurvy over here.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Much success, and hopefully we'll be out of this year sometime.
Yeah. Good luck to you all over there, and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Lance and Tara from Nest Theater. All right, Leslie, you have some stories, but before we get to those, let's pay homage to our fine sponsors. That would be Builder Supply Outlet in Broadview, Illinois. They have, in addition to that beautiful warehouse that Tom Janke has there, they have this setup called the Edge. It's set up so you can see what your kitchen's going to look like if you remodeled it. They have all of the setups that you might think, well, that's how I want my kitchen to look like. And then they have designers to help you make that happen. So it's a whole thing of all the beautiful stuff. And then, okay, here's what it's going to look like. So you don't have to guess. And then you go through the warehouse and talk to their decorators. They'll help you. And then you get to the checkout. And if you mention Garry Meier, you get $25 off any $100 or more purchase. And that's in Broadview, Illinois. Builder Supply Outlet. You'll see where the directions are by going to their website. And it's just a great place run by a great guy. And it's really competitively priced. If you are in for a remodeling of any sort, you want to go there for your doors, windows, cabinets, flooring. It's all there.
They're building the doors right there on site. You want custom doors? They'll build you a custom door. It's
beautiful. And you don't have to wait weeks. It's there now. You want that cabinet? Okay, pull your car around. There it is. Boom. You're installing. Or if you don't install, they have installers too. So you're covered either way. All right, and we have the fine Bettenhausen people, Bettenhausen Automotive in Tinley Park and Orland Park, Illinois. Alan, I think we have some commercial here that we can show people.
Bettenhausen, the Midwest's #1 dealer, has Chicagoland's largest selection of new Dodge Grand Caravans, Dodge Journeys, or Jeep Renegades. Shop the Start Something New sales event 24/7 at BettenhausenCDJR.com.
And Team Hochberg, your mortgage and refi experts and your reverse mortgage experts. Do you know what a reverse mortgage is? You don't? Well, they do. And if you're 62 or older, somebody in your house is 62 or older, you can maybe qualify for a reverse mortgage. Call David and his team, and they'll tell you all about that and everything else. They do a free consultation. And if you sign the paper and a couple days later, oh, no, COVID's still here, you can just rip it up and wait till you're ready to do business with David. I've known David for 20 some years. This guy, he's helped thousands of listeners get refied and mortgages and all the good stuff that comes with that. Call him and they'll take care of you. Free consultation. And there it is right there on the screen. All right.
They'll even deliver to C-Bus, it turns out.
The C-Bus. Yes. Yes, C-Bus. They're licensed in 35 states. Ohio might be one of them. Check it out.
So you wait 6 weeks and kids have such short memories. We renamed those statues like Jimmy or Bobby. And nobody's going to know. Is that Columbus? Nope.
No, that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. You got a statue.
He's good. He's a nice guy. Look, he's got funny pants.
Hey,
sorry.
I think you hit on something there. Instead of going through all the time, money, and effort to take these statues down, just rename them. Have a contest. And if there's a super citizen in your area, just name the statue after that super citizen.
Like Bodie McBoatface, we call him Statue McStatueface.
Yes.
It's that guy. It's
Have
the guy
some
with
fun
the funny
with it.
pants. Nice hat.
Right. So what do? They put it in a warehouse somewhere and it rots, and that's a waste of time and money.
And you don't want
it.
all those pedestals, empty pedestals hanging around. And I'm not ready to have Dolly Parton everywhere. Although she is getting apparently she's getting her bust put in a Capitol. So anyway.
Yeah. All right.
You want some stories?
Yes.
I got some stories. There's a marijuana shortage in Jamaica, believe it or not. The island, known for its commitment to ganja, was first deluged with a period of heavy rains. Then came an extended drought. And then those things prompted quite a few people to just get out of the business completely. All this at a time when demand has never been higher, says one of the leading voices in the island's pot trade, quote, "It's a cultural embarrassment." COVID-19 also played its part too because of Jamaica's 6 p.m. curfew. Many of the remaining pot farmers had to forego tending their fields at night, which is common in the business.
Okay, that's the twilight zone right there. If Jamaica's out of pot, that's like Hawaii being out of pineapples or coconuts or something.
It's like Portillo's running out of beef. It's just
not
don't.
Right. I like when Ellen said it was the beef bus. I think that was the name of my car when I was in high school.
Yeah, baby.
Beef bus. Yeah, baby.
Apparently, life in the nation's tallest residential high-rise ain't all it's cracked up to be. Folks who forked over millions of dollars to live at 432 Park Avenue in Manhattan are upset that a lot of the building's promises are falling short. A group of condo owners are, quote, at odds with the building's developers over a number of issues, including flooding, elevator outages, and the loud groaning and creaking from the tower swaying in the wind. Not only that, at least one resident says the trash chute sounds like a bomb. And then there are also the fees. Among other things, residents there are currently required to spend $15,000 a year at the building's private residence, at their restaurant. It's supposed to be a Michelin star restaurant, but it's kind of a difficult task to attend the restaurant in the middle of a pandemic. Currently, no word from the developers.
I lived on the 50th floor of this building in Chicago, the John Hancock building. It's 100 stories. And on real windy days, the building would creak like a ship. But that was just part of living there. And you figured that's okay because it's moving, which it should. And if it was real windy, I look at my toilet and the water would be sloshing.
Be swishing.
Yeah.
I worked on the 95th, and we used to hand out Dramamine on windy days because I think it's something like a 3 to 6 foot shift. Because if a tree doesn't bend, it breaks.
That's right. And I live near the garbage chute. And if people on the upper floors were throwing bottles and stuff down there, it was loud.
Like a bomb?
Yeah. So, but these people in New York paying millions of dollars for these places, hey, that's the way it goes. Too
Good
bad
luck.
for you.
And there's a two-headed bird hanging around Nova Scotia. A couple of weeks ago, Bill and Erlene Gill spotted what they thought were two birds hopping around in unison in their backyard, but something was off. That's when they realized it was just one bird with 2 wings, 2 legs, and 2 heads. Bill snapped a blurry photo of what appears to be a pair of conjoined grouse twins. Each head is a slightly different color, and each works independent of the other. It's not unheard of, but it is pretty rare.
And in the movie The Birds, if there was a 2-headed bird, they could, Tippi Hedren's eyes could be pecked out by one bird at the same time. Rizzutto, Razzletty, now.
Do we want any more? I got a couple more for you.
If you're up for it, otherwise save them. You up for
Yeah,
one?
you know what? Let's say, well, I don't know. Let's see. How about one more. A cactus smuggler in New Zealand has been sentenced to community service. She's lucky. 38-year-old Wen Qing Lee, aka Wendy, was intercepted at Auckland International Airport in 2019 with some 1,000 cacti and succulents strapped to her body. These were plants she tried to illegally smuggle in from China. When Wendy realized that she would never make it through customs, she attempted to flush a lot of the plants down the airport toilet. An alert police dog, they say, caught her in the act. She got off easy considering all the harm these non-invasive, or these non-native rather, species could have caused to the island's ecosystem.
How do you smuggle a cactus on your person or a succulent? You ever had a succulent in your
Okay,
person?
succulents are smooth. I could see
Yeah.
sticking a succulent, here and there, but damn,
Cactus?
girl, cactus.
And really. And they keep trying. They think we're going to get through the airport. They're not going to check. I'll be fine. How do you do this? Why do you do this? You're an idiot.
She's committed to the process, Wendy.
That's it. Hey, Leslie, happy Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And here's the sad thing. We've already seen a lot of the commercials that would have driven some of us to watch this thing.
Come on, it's perfect. It's an older white guy going up against a black guy. That's the whole country right now. Enjoy
it. Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, there
Can't
it
we
is.
all just get along?
Take that cannoli coming down the aisle. It's complimentary. Yeah, ooh, nice cannoli. What about the schnauzer for Super Bowl weekend?
In gratitude for our guests, Tara and Rance today, improvise with your schnauzer.
Work it. It's Dick Clark's Rockin' Super Bowl weekend featuring Ryan Seacrest. Thanks for listening. 3 in the green, gears down, flaps are down. The voice of the globe, the Garrforce, has landed.
If you like that, I got other stuff I think you're going to like. This is the Garrforce